There is a time frame now, and it's a pretty clear one. It is 9 months from now, from today exactly. So in 9 months' time, we'll be looking at this very, very closely. First of all, to see whether these negotiations are still ongoing, because remember, that is what has always happened historically. Something comes between them, there is a stumbling block, and they end, essentially. So we'll be seeing if they're still alive in 9 months' time and what that final agreement might be, because this is about a final status agreement. In other words, a two-state solution, possibly in 9 months' time. That is relatively optimistic. What's coming next is the next step. That is more talks. That is the success story coming from Washington, was that Secretary of State John Kerry was able to announce more talks, this time in the Middle East. This will be either in Israel or in the Palestinian territories, either in Jerusalem or in Ramallah, most probably. And that's where things will get that little bit more concrete, because remember, we've had very few concrete details as to what exactly will be discussed. This is the first step. Everybody at that same table in Washington, and the whole discussion now moves on to the Middle East. We have seen this all before. Look at the new U.S. Special Envoy, for example, for these talks, Martin Indyk. He has been there before, and he was heavily involved in 2010 when things went wrong for the peace negotiations at Camp David. Still, though, the success story is getting everybody around the same table. Now it comes to the concrete matters, and they have not been mentioned in public. This is the likes of Israeli settlement building, the borders of a potential Palestinian state. These are all the really, really big stumbling blocks. But there's almost a cloak of silence over these talks imposed, it appears, by Secretary of State John Kerry. He has said he will be the only one making statements about the actual contents of these talks. Otherwise, they will be behind closed doors. They will be secret. John Kerry will be heavily involved. Martin Indyk, the special envoy, he will be doing the day-to-day business. And there is another man here in Washington who will be looking at things very, very closely indeed. That is Barack Obama. He invited the negotiators over to the Oval Office today, along with Vice President Joe Biden, Secretary of State John Kerry, around a half-an-hour meeting, just to give his support for this next round of negotiations. If Barack Obama can pull this off and turn this into a big success story, well, that would be the biggest success story in terms of foreign policy for him. Remember, the Middle East hasn't exactly been a big success story for him.